TIFU by forgetting I was already on mute. This just happened today. I was on a Zoom call with my class this morning. Now, I haven't been up this early in a while, so I was really groggy. I put my camera off and muted myself because I really just wasn't asked to put up with it. Then it happened. I felt a gurgling in my stomach. Realized what needed to happen. I gotta break the wind. I had a plan. Mute myself, release the toxic gas and unmute myself as if nothing happened. I clicked the mute button, let it rip, and unmuted myself again as if nothing happened. There was an eerie silence in the Zoom call, then some people started giggling. I knew something was wrong. Then I realized my issue and where I messed up. I was already on mute from when I joined the call. When I muted again, I had actually unmuted myself. I was so tired I just didn't think about it. Everyone heard me free the beast. Everyone. It was like I had done it in an actual class. I was mortified and immediately left and haven't joined back. I'm expecting an email from my teacher on the issue, but I'm not sure he really wants to. I'll update if he does. Everyone watched me, out of the blue, unmute myself, cut the cheese, and then mute myself again. This is the worst thing to happen to me throughout lockdown. Reddit comments. Own it, it's the only way. You even unmuted yourself to do it, so it looks intentional, like you did it for laugh. Owning it would probably have got yourself a telling off from the teacher. Your classmates would have laughed, and you would have moved on. However, leaving the class immediately and not coming back pretty much removed that as a viable option. You now only have various degrees of awkwardness to choose from. Lol. It's like you intentionally farted on them then left. Like a big drop the mic. The instructor is probably having a self-esteem bottom out thinking you were giving commentary on the quality of the class. Reminds me of the time I farted in the computer lab, and when the girl to her seats overturned to look at me, I coolly asked her, did you just fart to play it off? As if I didn't do it, and went back to my own business. Then 10 minutes later I realized it was just the two of us in the lab. Should have just owned it. College, I was once scrambling to finish a physics test. I couldn't leave due to the time limit and I really had to let one rip, so I just let it fly. It was one of the loudest farts I've ever ripped in a totally silent room. Still laugh about it with friends from that class. Happened to my buddy during a civics test in high school. The whole room is dead silent and my buddy Terrell just lets out this resounding clapper and just looks at me absolutely horrified while I returned pretty much the same expression. I immediately start laughing hysterically and he tries to blame it on me. There was no damage control to be done. We all knew where it came from. Hold spacebar when you want to fart. Kid in my class did this very same mistake a month ago and has got a new nickname Fartface ever since. What I wanted to say was people can be immature, all you can do is own it. Also you could laugh it off too. As a practical joke it would be believable, since for others it would look like you specifically unmuted yourself so others could hear you fart in the middle of the Zoom call. Weird teacher that thinks farts are hilarious, so I talk about them all the time. In fact, I told my students, who were in 9th grade at the time, that most people, from my observations over the years, seem to actually poop their pants at some point, before 30 even, due to any number of reasons. You know, food poisoning, stomach bugs, trusting a fart that you shouldn't, all sorts of things like that. So at some point, I'm fairly certain that almost every person in this room is going to poop their pants accidentally, and when they do, they get to remember that I told them. The reason I told them was because they were annoying me, as students will intentionally do. You know, as a group of 30, you'll take on like a life of your own. In high school, I'm just assuming you're in high school or a bold middle school student, I suppose. And I'm easy to mess with as a teacher, so my students take the opportunity all the time. Therefore I like to provide unappealing food for thought, since it's my job to wrinkle your brains. Anyway, the point is, every adult seemingly poops their pants against their will at least once in their life before they die, so you can find some comfort in that strange anecdotal observation I've made. As far as right now, I have a really cool weird job and I only have 13 students, and I love it, but I'm like a total and utter failure at working from home right now. That's because I'm a human who can't deal with being home for this many weeks in a row without having significant consequences on my mental health. I mean that's, if I'm just being honest, and I am. I wouldn't be this explicit with my students. However, I'm just grateful to have a job and still be able to try and be better. Stay safe and thank you for the hearty chuckle. It once before age 30, because I had a stomach bug and the fart turned out to not be just a fart. My ex had a bad issue with flatulence. Like way beyond normal. I won't go into details, but I'm glad I no longer have to live with him. He once farted during a class in his late 20s and realized it wasn't a fart. The seats were in a theater type setting, so he had to squeeze past a few people to go to the bathroom. Poor people. Honestly, your post gave me the biggest laugh I've gotten from Reddit in quite a while, which turned into an immediate facepalm because you left the class. Dude, it was a hilarious mistake. You laugh with everyone else. Explain exactly what happened with the mute, which probably leads to even more laughs, and then everyone moves on. Leaving was your only mistake. You gave everyone in class a moment of levity. Next class, just chuckle about it. If it gets brought up, explain what happened. People will laugh, and then it's done. Simple as that. My last GF, and I shared a desk and played online games together with other people on TeamSpeak. We were together for over 5 years, and I felt so comfortable that I could fart in her presence. I felt a big one building up inside and knew it was gonna be very loud, so I muted myself and pressed it out instead of letting it go silently because I'm a man. I was shocked when I could hear my own fart on TeamSpeak recorded over my girlfriend's headset, and so was my GF. Her eyes were wide open in shock and her cheeks became lobster red when I turned towards her, busting out laughing. The TeamSpeak channel remained silent for a few long seconds until one of the guys asked my GF if that was really her. She was too embarrassed to even answer, so I unmuted myself and said pretending I just came back from being AFK. She didn't speak the whole evening. I'm almost always muted. This morning I unmuted myself to have a brief conversation with my teacher. I forgot to remute myself, and sometime later I said out loud to my cat, "Stop putting your butthole in my face." Everyone was confused. Thankfully it was easily explained. Part of my job, I wear a radio with a mic on my shoulder and the rest on my hip. Once I leaned against the counter in the washroom and let a massive one go. It was probs like 5 to 10 seconds long. Then my radio started making weird noises. Turns out everyone on my team heard it because I didn't know I was leaning on the button and transmitting. They knew it was me because the radios have our names digitally on them. One coworker radioed me to tell me to stop making noises and using up radio time. I had no other choice but to own it, lol. Some thought I did it on purpose, but we still laugh about it. Hope this helps you feel better. Never used Zoom, but the company I work for uses WebEx Teams. I got promoted recently, which entitled me to my own office, and now requires me to be on a few weekly Teams calls. The first time I was on one, I was playing with my new Jabra Bluetooth headset before the call, and found that the mic will mute itself when you flip it up. Cue the call. I flipped that mic up and let one rip, thinking it was in secret, not realizing that all I did was mute the headset. My PC was still using its internal mic to pick up my audio because I didn't mute myself in the Teams call like I was supposed to. I've never seen my director of operations try so hard to be professional and not break character for a laugh, but everyone knew it was me because my chat instantly blew up with others on the call. It was a lesson learned. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has let one rip at the wrong time. Everyone eats. Everyone has gas. It's arguably as common as sneezing or coughing, but we make people feel ashamed for one. Next time you're in the call, just say, "And today I'm going to try." to not mix up mute and unmuted dressing things for people who know without actually saying what you did. Sure, if this helps, but I can assure you that everyone found it extremely funny and will forget it in due time. Maybe a few of them will somehow tuck it in the very back of their memories. Those are who you cut connections with when you graduate. Not my idea, but if you try to think about minor embarrassing stuff that other people did, you'll probably have a hard time. Comment and subscribe.